Oh, I'm on the air. Must resist the temptation to say lots of stupid jokes for the online broadcast. Okay, so apparently this will be something you could rewatch. I don't know why you would, but if you're not here, hopefully you can see it. Okay, so we're starting the booklet, Managing Money. We're going to go a little bit slowly with this booklet because there's more stuff that students have trouble with, more things to remember. The goals of the first lesson, which are learning how to calculate taxes, are to identify programs and services that are funded by taxes, to calculate GST and PST, and if you don't know what those are, we'll go through them, and to calculate total after-tax cost of items. So the first thing is identifying programs and services funded by taxes. Does anybody have any idea what taxes pay for? Yeah, so street repairs.
Defense, health.
What's that?
Defense.
You're right, defense, like national defense spending. This, school, right? Education. Education's a big expensive one. Anybody know what the most expensive thing taxes pays for? Healthcare, yeah, healthcare is very expensive. So those are, and there's all different kinds of taxes, right? So there's the kinds of taxes you pay when you buy things. We call those sales taxes, right? You buy something and then they charge you more than what the price is, okay? And there's also other kinds of taxes like income taxes, money coming in. So when you have a job, if you get paid $20 an hour, you don't actually see the $20 per hour on your check, right? They subtract, they deduct some of it, and some of that goes to taxes, okay? And those are the most common ones. If you own property, you pay property taxes, right? So if you own a house or a condo or something, every year you pay a bunch of money, and that goes to the city to pay for roads and those kinds of things. Okay, so a quick overview it says here. Why are taxes collected? Well, the federal government uses funds from the GST, which is the goods and services tax, okay, to pay for things like healthcare. They do transfer some money to like universities and colleges, social services, defense, public safety, those kinds of things. Provincial governments, the government of Manitoba uses PST, which is the provincial sales tax, and that's different in each province, to pay for programs such as healthcare, education, roads and highways, family services, etc. There's lots of taxes. And generally the rule of taxes is you just always end up paying more than what you used to pay. They just keep going up. And that's okay as long as you're getting more services and as long as people's pay keeps going up, right? Tax returns, yeah, so some things, you know, you're exempt from. So does anybody get a GST check? No. So there's income thresholds. There's certain taxes that you only pay if you like make enough money, and otherwise you might get money back. So a new one that's coming out is a carbon tax. So if you don't make over a certain amount of money per year, you might actually get money back from that.
Really? Yep.
Yeah. Because the cost of your living has gone up, right?
Yeah.
So you have to pay, you know, if you're driving, you're going to pay fuel surcharges. You're going to pay more per liter of gas. If you're taking a bus, they're going to raise the cost to use a bus because they're paying more for fuel, so you might get some money back, right? Those kinds of things. Okay, and consumption taxes like GST and PST, sometimes they're charged and sometimes they aren't, okay? So a GST is charged on all goods and services, whereas a PST is only charged on like products. So for example, if you pay someone to shovel your walkway from snow, you're not buying a product, like there's no packaging, so you don't pay PST on that. But you are paying for a service, so you will pay GST if you get someone to do work for you, okay? If you have a car and you go to get it fixed, you'll pay PST and GST on all the parts that they need, but you'll only pay GST on the labor, like the work that they're doing. And you'll see that on your receipt. They'll break it down. And you'll see that how much is GST, how much is PST. You don't have to memorize all the things that you pay for and don't pay for. Plus, they keep changing. They'll change the rules all the time. Usually in their favor, not in yours. So here's some basic stuff. There's no GST and PST on some basic groceries, fruits and vegetables, because those are considered necessities, like everybody should be having those, so they don't charge you tax on those. This one, I believe, has changed. They didn't charge them on baby supplies, but now someone told me they do.
They do, they put it all, they is now, since when? Really? Because somebody said to them.
They don't charge them on all medications. They don't charge them on all feminine products, but that might have changed. They might charge them now, I'm not sure.
They better not.
Okay.
Nice.
I can definitively say I have no idea. Okay? Yeah.
I think you're wrong about services. I had clients who were auditors,
Yeah.
and I had to keep my business below 30,000, or else I'd have to start charging PST. And I was doing pipe rooming for years. Now this is a long time ago, but I did over 30,000. Even though it was a service, I had to charge PST.
Need GST?
GST I had to charge anyways.
You had to charge it no matter what, yes.
Yes, but it was 30,000 was the line
Yeah.
to start charging PST on services.
Really?
And now this was in the 80s.
Okay, so it may have changed, yeah. So tax rules, they change all the time, so yeah, that's interesting. As far as I know now, you wouldn't, but interesting. One of the, there's no PST charged on children's clothing under 14. It's a pretty common thing people will do, is they'll buy clothing and say, oh, it's for my like 12-year-old niece or whatever, and they don't pay tax on it. I wouldn't recommend you do that, but people do it, right? Especially adults who are like tiny, they can get away with buying clothes and saying they're for a kid, right? Okay. So this one. So calculating GST and PST. Samuel's in need of a new backpack for school. He finds one priced at $14.99. Calculate the amount of GST he'll be charged. Okay, so the rate of GST in Canada at the moment is 5%. Okay, 5%. Now, to multiply by a 5%, I can either go 5 divided by 100, or a quick way would be to times by what number? We did this a little bit with the first unit.
0.05.
Yeah, I could just turn that into the decimal and use it, or I could go 5 divided by 100. It's the same thing. So 5% as a decimal is 0.05. So when you're doing these questions, you can either go 5 divided by 100 like that, or you can go 0.05, whatever you want, okay? If you always do the dividing by 100 method, you'll never make a mistake. Whereas converting percent to decimal, sometimes people put the 0 in the wrong place. Okay, but it's up to you. So for this question, you would just go $14.99 times 5 divided by 100, or you would go $14.99 times 0.05. It's the same thing. And you can use a calculator for that. And the number I get is 0.7495. Now this is money, so I would round that up to what amount? 0.7495. It's going to go up to 5. So 75 cents basically. 0.75. And you can see it there. Okay, what amount of PST? So I would go $14.99. PST is 8%, although that might change. It might go down to 7. But for now it's 8, so times 0.08 And that's $1 and I round that up to 20 cents. $1.20. Because remember, you look at the third number, it's a 9, so it's going to go up. So 19 is going to go up to 20 when you're doing the rounding.
Do you ever divide?
Not for percents, no. It's always multiplied. So calculate the total cost of the backpack after taxes. So all you would do is take your original price, which was your $14.99, and then add your GST and your PST. It's small, yeah. I could try zooming in. It doesn't let me zoom in. Yeah, it only lets. Weird. Focus, but it didn't zoom. Yeah, so if you add those two amounts to the $14.99, you'll get $16.94. Okay? Now I will show you there is a quick way to get to the final answer if you don't need to calculate the individual taxes. So I'll make a little note here. If you want to find a quick total, you can take your original price and multiply it by 1 point and whatever your total tax amount is. 1 point tax. Yeah, so for this one it would be exactly $14.99 times 1.13, and that will give you the same answer, or should. $16.94. Let me just turn the light off. Does that help?
Can you read it? Or no?
Still have no idea why it won't let me zoom in anymore. It did before.
Isn't it the side where the sun look at the haze? Yeah, go down one.
No,
Let's rotate.
and none of these are.
Let's brighten this.
There's an actual button on here, and the first time I used the camera it let me, and now it doesn't let me do it. I have no idea why. Someone changed some settings somewhere. Okay, so I apologize that it's not easier to see if you're far back there. That's for sure. Okay. Okay, so calculating total cost, you can use the quick method, just multiply 1 point tax, or you can find each tax and add them. Either way is correct. So you buy a new bicycle, that's $129.97. The total after taxes, you can just multiply it by 1.13. And if you do that, you'll get $146.87. And example 3, Marion's 11-year-old son Kyle needs new runners that cost $24.49. What will be the total cost to purchase these runners after tax? Remember, there's no PST. So this time, I'm going to multiply by 1, and I'm only using the GST, so I'll use 0.5. So that would be GST only. And you get $25.70. Or you can multiply by 0.05 and add that tax on. Whatever works for you, okay? So try the questions on the next page. I'll give you a little bit of time to do that, and then maybe we'll check them together, make sure you all get the same thing. All right? Have fun. Make sure you're smiling. Good times. Calculating taxes. People love to calculate taxes.